Okay, welcome everybody to the chart chat for Tuesday, August 2nd. A lot of exciting action in the markets today. And look, it definitely looks like a follow through to the uptrend. It looks like the trend is we're at the start of a new uptrend. So a lot of bellwethers are moving right now. So let's take a look at a couple things right now. Let's go into the big market, the index, the Nasdaq. Let me get that into the thing over here. Okay, Nasdaq. Let me put this over here. Okay, so what is going on with Nasdaq? Look, we're above the 50-day moving average now. It's used that, as you can see, what's going on here is after it broke out of that 50 moving average, the Nasdaq tested that 50 again. And, remember I did that live stream, it was like last week. I said, wow, it looks like it's going to break through. Now, that was the stupidest thing because you got to really wait till there was actually a move through the moving average, either to the upside or the downside. But yeah, it tested that 50-day moving average, and then it just catapulted right off of it. I mean, it didn't even touch it. And we've had we've had five. We're at 5 solid days. 5 solid bullish days. I'll even show you what this looks like in the candle chart for those of you who are candlestick aficionados. So this is actually, look, this is a really good looking chart, right? This is a really good looking chart. Looks like the trend is back on. I think we actually did see capitulation. I think the capitulation phase was the last couple of weeks. And the fact that, I was saying, wow, it's all over last week, while the Nasdaq was testing that 50 moving average. That's classic capitulation. I mean, that is classic capitulation. We don't know. We're not going to know. We're not going to know. There is a small possibility. Look, it could be, there is a possibility that we could see what we saw over here back in March, where we had like a bit of a rally. It's the funny thing is, it looks very, very similar, right? So let me do this. Let me draw you the trend line. I think we're actually just broken out of that trend line, though. I think we broke out of that trend line. Let's take a look. So here's your real. Yes, no, we haven't. We're approaching it. So Nasdaq is going to have to really break through 12. I think I talked about this before, 13,000. If it breaks through 13,000, that's going to get a lot of people off the sidelines. People have been watching, and those people will be back into the market. So let's talk about the stocks that are moving right now. What is going on with some of these movers? Okay, so really interesting. Let's take a look at Uber. Big breakout. Again, very similar to a lot of the stocks we're looking at, whether it's NEXCF, whether it's XTM. Those are the stocks in our micro cap universe. But look, the Uber, what we saw here was this kind of inverse head and shoulders bottom happening. We broke above the 50-day moving average, right, back in July 20th. And today there's just a big gap up. Now, here's the crazy thing. There's been a lot of bad news in the markets, right? So there's been a lot of bad news all this time. And I think everything is kind of baked in. So any type of positive news is going to send stocks higher, which is what creates bull markets. So this is a big move in Uber. Big gap up like this. Really interesting. And this could be, look, could this have been the double bottom? Could this have been a historical double bottom? I really don't understand like the Uber. I mean, I don't have any opinion on it from a fundamental standpoint, but this, I don't like to see these big gaps either. But look, this thing looks pretty good. Let's take a look at stocks I have been following. I've been talking about for quite a while now. DraftKings. I've been talking about the DraftKings for quite a while. Look, I am biased. I have a bias to DraftKings because I really feel like DraftKings is sort of a bellwether for, the micro cap space in a way, sports betting, gambling, penny stocks. It's kind of all related, right? I don't bet on sports. I don't even know how it works. I find the whole thing confusing. It doesn't really interest me. But DraftKings, I think, is a very interesting stock. Let's go into the DraftKings chart. We had this very nice bottoming happening here. This kind of inverse head and shoulders bottom. Again, a breakout above the 50-day moving average. Look, again, common theme. Stocks are breaking out above the 50. And now, look, and we had this thing kind of, there was a bit of a fake out before. Like the last 10 days ago, there was a bit of a fake out. It popped up, dropped below it. And that's the thing. That's the thing with these moving average. I mean, yeah, it's great. Wow, brilliant. Yeah, the thing works. You can, why isn't everybody a billionaire? Why? Because you have this kind of churn where you have these kind of fake outs happen. People, they get in. 2 days later, they're out of the position, just like what you saw with DraftKings. So you would have been whipsawed a couple of times in DraftKings. But then when you finally do catch that big uptrend, you can have, you can make some serious money. And the big money is made with, riding these massive uptrends. Take a look at this. Again, I think we have a massive double bottom in DraftKings right now. And I think we can eventually exceed the old highs. Again, I know it sounds crazy, but I think we could have a very, very significant move in this stock. And again, that's very bullish for the penny stock space. How about Palantir? Palantir also looking good, right? Palantir, another stock that everybody's watching. Very similar. Again, and this is actually better because you have a lot more momentum off of that 50 moving average line. And you see it's accelerating. The gap between the moving average and that and the chart is widening. So this is, look, this is very bullish. Very, very bullish for Palantir. I have no idea what they do. I know it's something to do with AI, whatever. This is purely a chart thing we're talking about here. So this is a nice bullish chart. I like DraftKings better. I think it's got a lot more torque to it. And let's kind of keep going with the disruptive innovation space. What's going on with ARK? ARK, again, very similar. Now, ARK, I think we did see that double bottom. I mean, this is clear double bottom here. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. Again, I talked about it before where I said, look, it's possible it could have go lower into the, even in the, what is this? What was the low here? 30, low 30. I don't think it's going to happen now. I don't think it's going to happen because look, the trend is clearly reversing. Again, like Esma said, there is a possibility we could see that this could be a fake out, and we'll know within a short period of time. But even with that, I just don't see a lot of downside. Look, even if you bought, even if you kind of got into, let's extreme examples. Let's say 2008, right? Let's say you bought stocks, October 2008. It looked like a market bottom, right? And sure enough, there was a bit of a rally, a couple months, and then the new year into March, and it dropped. I think it was 30. It really wiped everybody out by the time it dropped in March to the ultimate low. You had and that was a 30%. So you got to be prepared for these stocks to possibly drop 30%. It's always possible. It could happen. How about this? How about AMC? And then we're going to go into our penny stocks, which is where the big money is to be made. The big money. Okay, AMC, very bullish chart again. It's crazy. So what's the common theme? The speculative stocks. I mean, what's more speculative than, AMC? It doesn't make any sense, right? But this thing just, we're above the 50 moving average. It's using that moving average as like a springboard, and it wants to go high. I think AMC could go to $40. Very possible. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if it went to $40. I'm not making any projections, but it's very possible. Now, another thing that's very interesting, what's happening. Cannabis, marijuana, reefer madness. The reefer madness, I think the reefer madness is making a comeback. The reefer madness. TLRY. Look at this. We broke above the 50. All right. We broke above the 50. Let me get out of this picture here. We broke above the 50-day moving average. And let's see. Is it possible that we're looking at a double bottom? I mean, here's the thing. I think that if the weed stocks start moving, what could be the catalyst? I mean, there's a couple of catalysts people know about, which is, that federal, the marijuana stuff, whatever. Who knows? There could be, who knows? Maybe all of a sudden they're going to put out an announcement that, I don't know, smoking pot, I don't know, makes you live forever. Who knows what the catalyst really is? But the chart, I think, is very interesting because, again, one of the things I love about a chart, this is not rational, by the way. There's no scientific basis, but one of the things I always say is, look, stocks like to go back to their old highs. They like to kind of go back to their old highs for a number of reasons, which we talk about. How high was TLRY? This was a $300. This is American money, by the way. US dollars, $300 on Nasdaq. 2000 September 2018. September 2018, 4 years ago, $300 a share. Can TLRY go back to $300? I have no idea. Can it go to $30 based on this chart? I think it can. I mean, I know it sounds crazy, and I don't even know the fundamentals. I don't even know what they do. I mean, I know they make, I don't know, they grow pot or something. Who knows? They smoke pot. I have no idea. TLRY, based on this chart, if we get some, again, we just broke out of the 50. As you can see, it's happened a couple times in this big downtrend. There were a bunch of fake outs. 1, 2, 3. Look at this. You see this over here. June of 21, November of 21, March of this year, right? So, but again, look at this 50 moving average, right? So you got faked out a couple times. Okay, fine. But look, the last time it had a run, it broke from 390, right? 390. And it ran to $63. This is a 20 bagger. So basically, you would have made $60 if you follow just this trading system. You would have made $60 American money. I mean, in theory, you should have held on to it and sold when it broke below, so which was 22. That's the theory of moving averages. I mean, that's really what you should have been doing if you were really following the system. And so you potentially could have made $60. You would have gotten whacked for 16. Yeah, you would want to. You probably would have netted $40 a share with the system. I mean, if you actually, even if you followed it exactly and sold, bought at 3 and change, so rode it to 60, sold it when it broke down below that moving average again at 20, you would still be up pretty substantially. You would be up, I think, not a lot. You'd be up like I think $10. Still, I mean, that is a lot of money. I mean, that's basic. That's what is it? A double, a triple? I don't know. Okay, so let's take a look at other stocks that are moving. So what's the theme so far today? The speculative stocks are moving. Speculative stocks are moving. You got the marijuana stocks. You got some of the tech stocks. And this is going to trickle down into some of our penny stocks again. We're starting to see that happen. I'm going to go into them in just a second. I just want to touch on a few more. ACB, Aurora. Aurora looks like it wants to make a move above that 50 moving average. And again, this has been a big high flyer. We're at $1.50, so this was $150. So we're at one. So this stock has lost 99% in the last few years. 99%. Can you imagine a stock losing 99% of its value? I think that is very bullish. And again, I don't smoke pot. I don't like the way it smells. I never got a high. It just doesn't do anything for me. I think it's basically a scam. But if people like pot, well, these, and apparently it helps a lot of people, right? There's medical benefits. Here's something else that's interesting. A couple months ago, who do we have on our program? We had what's his name? The guy from SC. What is it? Stone Castle. Bruce, the Canadian guy. Bruce from Stone Castle Funds, right? This is going back, I think, about 5-6 months ago. I think it was. And we're talking about Bruce. I asked Bruce, what do you see as the big trends for this year? Was this? I think it may be in January. It's on our YouTube channel, so you guys can check it out, watch the video, whatever. And he said a couple things. The guy was absolutely 100% on the money. He talked about resource stocks, and the resource stocks did take off. And he also said marijuana, the cannabis stocks. And, I think he was a little bit early. There was a bit of a run. Yeah, into March, there was a run. So he was right then. And now we're, maybe, the guy's a smart guy, right? Bruce from Stone Castle. That guy's a very smart guy. I should have him back on. But I think, look, if a stock is down 99%, once something drops 99%, that's usually a good time to get in. I mean, these are real businesses, right? They're doing, hundreds of millions of dollars in business. The reefer madness. How about the Sandal? Sundial. Also very interesting. I like the other ones better. I like the Aurora. Let me see, CGC. Did I look at CGC? Canopy Growth. You know what? Aurora, so that's ACB and TLRY. ACB and TLRY have significantly more strength, I believe. Those are better positioned. So if you like the weed, I think those are better positioned. ACB, TLRY, okay. Let's see what else is moving today. Okay, so we got those. We got AMC. We talked about Uber, ARC. Now let's talk about the real money-making opportunities here, which is our favorite penny stocks. Look, these are client companies, so think of it as paid content. See the link in the description for the full disclaimers, and these are all high risk. They can all go to zero. Yes, these stocks can go to zero. I mean, imagine if you bought Aurora or TLRY. Those stocks dropped 99%, 99% from their high, right? Imagine paying $300 for a stock. You go to sleep. You wake up 4 years later. Shit, the thing is at $3. Can you imagine that? 99% loss. I'm proud to say I don't think we've ever brought a company onto our program which lost 99%. For sure, not during the time they were with us. For sure, 100% that I promise you that never happened. Maybe a couple of years later, who knows? Yeah, usually during the time they're with us, they do quite well. So let's look at NEXCF. Interestingly, NEXCF was a spin out. This is interesting. Fun fact. NEXCF was a spin out of originally a marijuana company. It was a spin out, and that stock did very well from what I understand. It was like a TenBagger or something, the marijuana stock, and NEXCF was. So this thing has a history of success. What is going on with NEXCF right now? Here is why we're watching it right now. Again, very similar to the charts we were looking at with some of those early breakouts. Now, NEXCF is actually a leader in the space because NEXCF broke out June 21st, which is a little bit earlier than some of those other Nasdaq stocks. It started running faster. It was one of the first to move, which is a positive. We had a big run, huge run. Stock tripled in a month. And look, I think we've been talking about this. Look, these things need to digest. Stocks, when they make a big move, they got to pull back. There's got to be consolidation phase. If a stock triples, it's very natural for it to drop 50-60%, give up 50-60% of that gain and consolidate those gains. As the bulls and bears fight it out, the stocks have to consolidate those gains. But here's what's interesting, right? what you want to see happening is once that consolidation phase happens, where does the stock go from there, right? Like, the bulls and bears fighting it out, fighting it out. Now, whichever side wins, that's where the trend is going to continue. So if the stock breaks out from here, that means the trend is back on, right? That means we're going to see much higher prices. If it breaks down from here, we're going to see lower prices. I mean, let's be very honest. If NEXCF breaks below 67, right? If it breaks, I would say below 75, you get a very strong support 75. If it breaks below 75, we're definitely going lower. We're probably going to touch the 67 cent. If it breaks below that, the next stop would be, in the 40s, right? That's the downside case. The upside case is, it's interesting. The Canadian regulations, apparently, they don't like you giving upside price projections, but I don't think they have a problem with people giving downside price projections. I wonder why that is. It's, is this a capitalist country, Canada? I don't know. But they don't like people saying, oh, here are price targets, whatever. So I'm not going to give you any price targets. But I've been talking about the support or resistance, which is, pure math, right? So if we see a breakout, and it looks like it's about to happen, right? We've been consolidating here, and it looks like it's about to make a run. I'm going to dive into the shorter term chart. The breakout could be pretty significant. Let's take a look at this. First, let me dive into the 4-hour. Okay, so here's the 4-hour chart, right? So we're still below the moving average. We've been there since last week. It looks like it's going up, right? Again, as you zoom in, you can kind of see where the market is, right? So this is the 1-hour chart. You see like a double bottom starting to happen. So the stock is trying to make a move. Like this morning, I think the stock was trying to make a run for it. And now it's been like kind of consolidating. I think it's waiting for a signal. I think NEXCF is waiting for a signal. And once it breaks out, again, the level to watch is this 81 cent price. Let's see, short term. Let's look at the support resistance lines, right? Let's look at the support resistance. For all you degenerate day traders, I'm doing this just for you. Here we go. I don't think this is that accurate. It's hard to get a good. Okay, there. Okay, that's a legitimate trend line. There you go. Pretty much, you got that. You got another one potentially here, right? What else we got going on? We got potentially. Again, this is the 1-hour chart. So if we break out of the 81, we're going to have a little resistance at 90 cents. Yes, there you go. 90 cents makes sense. Psychologically, very important number, 90 cents. If the stock goes to 90, I think you can go crazy because you can have people jumping on board who are, they're going to be afraid of missing that train, the momentum train. And what else is next? After that, you get about $1.25, and that's a number we've talked about before. I don't see anything else. There's really nothing else between $1.25. Again, if you go out of that dollar, okay. So let's clear these up. So if you go out of that $1.25, there's really, again, this is what I find compelling about this chart, about NEXCF, is there really is, what is it? There's no real resistance after $1.25. I hate to tell you this. I really hate to break the news to you, but you have this air pocket between potentially $3. There's a little resistance, but you have a very big air pocket. This is all like wide open territory. This is like no man's land, free fire zone, right? This is what I'm saying. This stock has the potential to go absolutely crazy. This stock has potential to go absolutely bananas if it breaks out of this $1.25, because there's just no real resistance. $3 maybe, but there's really not a lot until you get into some crazy. I don't want to talk about these crazy numbers because the Canadian regulations, they don't like you giving any type of price price projections. I'm not giving any price projections or suggestions. By the way, tomorrow we're going to have Evan Gappelberg, CEO of NEXCF, is going to be on our program for the live stream. Ask him your questions. Yeah, don't listen to me. I'm just a low-life stock promoter. Don't listen to anything I have to say, right? Watch the interview with the CEO. Decide for yourself, right? Decide for yourself. Look at the charts. The charts don't lie. And, ask the CEO your questions. And again, I think that, I think the CEO quality is the number one thing for stocks, especially microcap stocks, venture companies, for venture-backed companies, for the founder. This founder is hugely important. I mean, why do VCs write a check for $10, $20 million like that based on an idea on a napkin if the guy's good, right? Why do they do that? If a guy comes in and he's got a track record, he's had another winner, he's had a stock that won, not a stock, a company that, he made, was a TenBagger or whatever it is. The guy is a smart guy. Even if it wasn't, like, I'll give you an example. Who's this guy? Uber. Speaking of Uber today, right? Uber. That's this guy, Travis, right? Kalanick or something. This guy, he had a very interesting history, right? This guy had like a couple of companies. He started a couple of companies. One was a dud. One he sold. I think it was like, I think they sold it for like 25 million. It was like people made money basically, but the guy's a very sharp guy, super, super smart guy, right? And when he was raising money for Uber, that seed round, people were just throwing money at him. People were throwing money at this guy because, he's a winner, right? So the founders of these companies are very important. And I think, when you're looking at NEXCF, NEXCF, Evan, I think this is the guy is like I think Evan Gappelberg is like the Travis Kalanick of Uber in many aspects. Maybe in good ways and bad, because you have to be a little bit crazy to really scale up one of these companies, right? You got to have certain qualities, and you got to be super relentless, right? You got to be completely fearless, think big, have a massive, massive vision. Check. That's what you need. Why is it so important with these micro caps? That's because it's not like a big company where it's established. You have a management team, you have process and everything else. You have massive revenue. No, this is different. These are companies. It's a lot depends on the CEO. Okay, let's dive into what other stocks do we have running? Paid. I love this symbol, right? Great symbol. XTMIF for all the Americans. XTMIF is the symbol in the US. This stock is breaking out. Take a look at this 50-day moving average. We broke above the 50. Let's clear up this over here. We're above the 50-day moving average, right? What about the trend? The trend, we really need to clear. I would say, here's the thing. This stock needs to clear 45 cents. It needs to clear 45 cents to really to be in a confirmed uptrend. I think we're probably going to get there into this 40 range. We're going to build like a head and shoulders here. But the main thing is this: we're above the 50. And this stock, look, if you're a low-life degenerate day trader, take a look at what happens every time XTM breaks above this 50-day moving average. It has a nice run. So the biggest run it had was, and it's a new stock, by the way, not a lot of, so it went from 15 cents to 60 cents. Not nice. That's a 4X, right? Then I went from 38 to 54. Not bad. From 40 to 56. Okay. So it's had some, it has nice moves, right? it's happening again. So I think, odds are, I mean, if you look at the statistics of this, I mean, this is almost like, again, I'm not giving any advice or anything here, but if you look at this, chart, if you just follow this 50-day moving average system for XTM, 100, I mean, hey, the chart is telling you, the charts don't lie, as I say. 100% of the time, it's had a pretty significant follow through. Is it 100%? Yeah, actually. Well, over here, the only time it wasn't that big of a move was here. It was a lot of churning. So, but yeah, I would say outside of that, 100% of the time. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. This one wasn't that big. Okay, so 4 or 5 times. 4 or 5 times it's had a very strong follow through, and you had one fake out or something, right? So very good, very, very auspicious action here for XTMIF. What else we got going on? AIML, we're kind of still waiting for this thing to break out. I mean, it's been building a base here. I thought we had a breakout. It went to 19 cents. We're back at 15. Let's see what happens. This is one of these very fresh. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Fans Unite back in the day, when Fans was 20 cents, 25 forever. It just wasn't moving, and then all of a sudden started moving. That's the same thing here, I believe. I think AIML is the same thing. Here's another stock. Again, former client, Red Light Holland. This thing is moving, right? This is a psychedelic stock, mushrooms, magic mushrooms. Pretty interesting that it's broken out of the 50-day moving average. Very, very strong breakout, right? This is, not a joke. This thing is not a joke. Anyway, what else? What else we got going on here? So we got what other stocks are moving? Okay, so in terms of the stocks that are client companies, which means those are our favorites, obviously, right? The ones that look the best right now are NEXCF and paid XTMIF. In terms of momentum, right? Break out of the moving average, boom, you got action here. So let's see if it follows through. Let me draw a trend line here. So it's been kind of in this, I would say, okay, so look, this has been a downtrend, right? This has been a downtrend. So we need to really break out above 25 cents. I would say, I mean, really 30 cents, but 25 cents. Watch 20. This is, again, the Canadian chart, XTMIF in America. Watch that 25-cent level for confirmation of a new uptrend. NEXCF, NEXCF. Again, I think the consolidation phase is just about over. Let's go into the 30-minute. Yeah, so I think we're going to get like a little bit of a churn here. And you want to watch this, 80 cent level, 81, 82, 83. Let's go into the 1 hour. There you go. Yeah, so you kind of want to see what happens over here. I think the stock is waiting for a signal, basically. I think NEXCF is waiting for a signal, and then it is going to be, off to the races. What are the stocks that I cover? Let's do Tesla, and then I'll sign off. Right? Let's do Tesla. What is going on with Tesla? Wow, there we go. There you go. Yeah, the Tesla bull move continues. Very strong follow through after it broke out of that moving average, right? I would say, I mean, it's not really quite accurate, but okay. So you got some resistance coming up. You got some resistance levels coming up. over here, right? So I would say this 970 level, 970 level is going to have a lot of resistance. I would say what is it, 967? We got 1,000. If it breaks 1,100, it's going to be game on. I mean, this thing can go bananas because there's really no. Because when you think about it, this is crazy. This thing has been in basically this uptrend channel, right? You got this uptrend channel, you got a correction. If it breaks above 970, the trend is just going to continue. I mean, that's what the chart would say, right? Can it go to 10,000? I don't know. Can it go to 1 million? I don't know. But the trend is your friend here. Okay. On that note, check out the live stream tomorrow with NEXCF, NEXCF. I will see you all tomorrow. And if you're brand new to the channel, click the subscribe button, the like button, dislike button, whatever it takes to move the YouTube algorithm. All right. Thank you. And I'll see you all tomorrow.